Great. So once again, thank you so much for coming over today and giving us the interview. A week prior to the Olympia, you made a very big announcement that you're leaving IFBB. But before we talk about that, can you maybe just give a quick introduction of your role in IFBB and what position you played in that organization?
I served as an Olympia judge for the last 10 years and as a head judge. And as many of you know, I've traveled the world in the last 4 years as a head official for the IFBB Pro League, managing a lot of the international side along with Robin Chang of AMI. And then I also served as the NPC Texas District Chairman, where we built up a very strong athletic and competitive base in the state of Texas.
So both you were NPC and IFBB?
Yes, sir.
IFBB Pro?
Yes, sir. Pro League, yes.
And you were judging contests like Olympia?
Olympia, the Arnolds, head judging the Arnold Brazils, Arnold Australia, Prague Pros, shows all around the world.
So you made an announcement that you after 9 years, you're leaving IFBB Pro and NPC. Why did you make that announcement? Why did you decide to leave?
The announcement had been some time in coming. It's a difference in vision. I had worked with Jim for a long time, Jim Mannion, and respected things, but saw that there was a need for change and heard that there was a need for change from athletes, from the sponsors, from the fans, and from the media, and for the sport. And I shared those ideas, these very same concepts that we have founded NPC Global or the Inspire Physique Championship League on. Laid them out in emails, laid them out in a 28-page document, spreadsheets, and it fell on deaf ears. And then as things began to change, after we had Arnold's announcement, just after giving Jim his Lifetime Achievement Award, he came out and said, here are the things that he saw were wrong with the judging, the distended bellies, and the lack of the posing round being judged, and that muscle connection with the athletes. And there's been a lot of other things that occurred during those last few months while I was preparing to launch the NPC Global League itself. But then Kai's announcement, I received a call at 5:45 in the morning from a former Mr. Olympia, an 8-time Mr. Olympia, and he was very distraught about what was going on with Kai. Obviously there was a lot of rumor and innuendo and not a lot of facts to be there, but it was at that point and at that moment that I knew the time from a business perspective was now, and also that we were prepared as a team to move. But I was also moved emotionally by Kai, and watching someone who they give their life, these athletes give their life, their time for their income. This is their job, and to whatever the circumstances were, to say that you can't be a part of it, or you didn't contract and everybody else did, all those things. This is how the man makes his money, and he's great for the sport. He brought a lot of revenue into the sport, which hasn't been shared by his likeness and others like him, his images. And his emotional plea was it was devastating. And so at that, it was that time that we said, we're going to move, and we put together the video to introduce the NPC Global to the world.
So when you made an announcement that you're leaving IFBB finally, what kind of response did you get from people?
Overwhelming, positive. People are happy. Change is inevitable in everything that we do in life. You have to evolve. And this sport has not evolved. I mean, we're still doing the same things. The rounds and the scoring system are still done with pencil and paper in the 21st century, which is why, for the last, few years, we have been developing a software system that we're going to introduce that is transparent to you, the media, to the fans, even to the athletes themselves that use iPads or whatever Apple software you want, or Microsoft, but it's visible software that people can see. It's modern day.
Well, what kind of response did you get from the actual IFBB?
Not a very good, not a very happy one. Obviously, there was not a lot of communication other than works under a lot of intimidation and threats of whatever. We were standing at Kai Green's welcome party that he had, or come meet and greet, and the manager of the facility was actually called by one of the officials in the organization to ask us to leave, and we just refused to leave. And then another hour came by, and one of the trainers from the organization, who had a couple people out on stage for Saturday night, this is around 8 o'clock, asked us to leave and said, we really weren't welcome there. But the man that we came to see welcomed us with open arms, and myself, my wife, Jennifer, and others that were with us waited for 5.5 hours, and it was a great moment to be able to share with Kai at that time, and then just to be able to look him in the eye and thank him for giving us the inspiration to proceed forward and know that change is needed and desired.
Do you feel threatened at all? Not physically, but are you threatened business-wise from anybody? Obviously, IFBB Pro or NPC?
No. I mean, it's a business. It's no different than you starting your movie and production thing. It's a risk. You go out there to fight it. I feel threatened physically. Oh yeah, I've had plenty of phone calls. Like I said, we were where you guys were with Kai Green. There's about 400 people. Thank you guys for being supportive. Who also heard the threats of physical violence. My 16-year-old daughter was actually a message from a fake account that if your dad doesn't stop now, there will be harm come to him. Please talk sense to him.
Who's making those threats?
They've contacted our one of my graphic artists actually lives here in New York, and he's been contacted by some of the heads of the organization, some of the leaders from the IFBB Pro League and the NPC directly and specifically. I've got a phone full of text and emails where people have been told to make sure that I knew without any doubt that this was not going to be a smart physical move. Nobody's talked about the business aspect of it. It was, we will show you that you should have stayed at the kiddie table. And the real anger for them is not the business. And I think that this is why, one of the reasons I believe I'll win, they're not focused on the business. They're focused on trying to impose their will on those who pay for memberships, to pledge an allegiance. They're trying to impose their will to get these 3 letters that mean just as much to me as they do to them. But if they would have meant that much, and this was such a great and prideful thing, wouldn't you have registered it? Change is inevitable in everything that we do in life. You have to evolve. And this sport has not evolved. I mean, we're still doing the same things. The rounds and the scoring system are still done with pencil and paper in the 21st century, which is why, for the last, few years, we have been developing a software system that we're going to introduce that is transparent to you, the media, to the fans, even to the athletes themselves that use iPads or whatever Apple software you want, or Microsoft, but it's visible software that people can see. It's modern day.
I didn't even know I don't think anybody in Compton knew what a fucking steroid was back then. It was too fucking poor to think about a fucking steroid, it's just, I'd rather you gotta try to buy food to eat. I can't afford no steroids, so.